Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie and Ali, and we are going to give you guys our thoughts of the day 3 of the New York Jets in the NFL draft that just got wrapped up. The Jets bring in 7 new players on day 3. One of them is an offensive player, and the rest of them are all on the defensive side of the ball. We saw Robert Saleh get creative and bring in so many players that he can play around with. Joe Douglas told Rob Saleh, hey, I know we went offense with the first 4 picks, but we got you with our next 6 picks on the defensive end. So we're going to get right into it. If you guys are new to Jets Media, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And if you guys enjoy the video, please also don't forget to thumbs it up. With that being said, let's jump right in. And as we're speaking right now, the 6th round is still active, so we do not know by any means if the Jets somehow trade up and get another 7th round pick. That's probably not going to happen, but I think the Jets are done as we're speaking right now. And we still have to keep our eyes out for the undrafted free agent pool as well, and we're going to make videos about that probably tonight or tomorrow. So with that being said, Ali, what's your overall thoughts of the Jets draft class when it comes to day 3, not talking about what we did in the previous 2 days?
I mean, yeah, at some point I was expecting them to go defense, and we've seen a lot of offense for the last 2 days, and Salah definitely wanted to get some defense guys because the Jets do need some help in defense because they have question marks on a lot of positions. You know, fans were crying for cornerbacks, and you definitely got cornerbacks and safeties today. And you know, it's exciting because a lot of these guys are very versatile. A lot of these guys are going to be playing multiple positions. They're going to be linebackers, they're going to be safeties, they're going to be cornerbacks, and they're going to be even special teams. You know, what the range of picks that they've did in this draft and trading back and getting those guys, and they reached a little bit on 1 or 2, and a couple of them actually fell to them for them in the 6th round. So overall, I think they did a great job. They pretty much brought guys that Salah can move around. You know, he's going to use chess pieces and pretty much place people in different positions. The Jets are an injury bug team. You know, we've seen that in the past. And when someone goes down, these guys got to be ready to go in any position. So, especially at the linebacker position, C.J. Mosley, Avery Williamson, you name it, Blake Cashman. So we have a lot of versatile in that position now. And, you know, I think they hit it. They needed corners, safeties. There's going to be competition in training camp, and that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to get right into it because this was such an interesting day 3 of the draft because, as we know, the first 4 picks, including Michael Carter, which we will get right into, were offensive players, and then they finish off the draft with 6 straight defensive players, and that tells you that they're going to be focused on both sides of the ball, and it's so interesting on how they maneuvered this draft. So we traded down, and we acquired an extra pick. So we came into the NFL draft before day 1 of the first round with 10 total picks. And then, as we know, we traded up to get Elijah Vera-Tucker, and we gave up one of our draft choices in the 3rd round. Well, we gave up 2 third-round picks, but we got a 4th-round pick in return. And then we were sitting with 9 total picks. And then Joe Douglas today, he trades back, gets an extra pick. So we finish off with 10 total picks in the grand scheme of things, even though we traded up for Elijah Vera-Tucker. And we all know our recap of AVT, Zach Wilson, and Elijah Moore. Those were home run picks, but we're not going to talk about them too much in this video. So let's get right into it. My overall thoughts before we get into each individual player was it was very interesting to see them go safety linebacker hybrid and corners back, just back to back to back to back. Every single player we drafted, whether it's Sherwood, whether it's someone like Carter II or Pinnock or Nasirildeen, you know, when we saw them on NFL Network or ESPN, they were labeled as a safety. So it looked like we literally drafted 4 safeties in a row. But then you do more research on the players. The Jets label them as linebackers because now we're in a 4-3 scheme. It's a completely different personnel group that we're bringing in here from Coach Rob Saleh. We're used to a 3-4 scheme where it's not really that much, you know, players that we're bringing in right now. So what they're trying to do is fit the personnel that's the system needs, and that's outside linebackers, that's will linebackers, that's athletic box safeties that can line up against tight ends, that's players that can be versatile and play in the nickel, that's players that can play on the outside and in the safety position. It's like what they just did is brought in a lot of versatile guys in the defense, like Lee was just mentioning, that Rob Saleh can have fun with. You know, we got him a lot of toys, and we're seeing a completely different defensive scheme put in place. And I feel like what they did in the back end of this draft is get value and just load up on defensive backs, because going into the draft, we knew on the defensive end, we do not have corners and linebacker depth. And what we just did, we went all in on cornerbacks and linebackers. And the funny thing is, we did not draft a true linebacker. We drafted safeties that were turning into linebackers because they're going to be playing, off-ball linebacking position, that will linebacker, and that's a perfect scheme fit for us. They're athletic, they're long, they can hard hitter like Sherwood. So with that being said, let's get into each individual player. First off, we're going to start about our running back, Michael Carter. So we had the second pick in day 3, which is 107 pick overall. And a lot of people did not know what we're going to do. We knew that Michael Carter was definitely an option, but we all assumed it might be a time for a defensive player since we drafted 3 straight offensive players. But nope, Joe Douglas is like, we're going offense. We're building around Zach Wilson. We're giving him a playmaker on the outside, or the slot rather, with Elijah Moore. We're giving him protection with AVT, and we're giving him a running back to develop with in Michael Carter. This man on my board was a top 5 running back. He easily could have went in the second round, but somehow he slid into the 4th round, so that's great value. So, Ali, what's your thoughts of Michael Carter being the pick for the Jets in round 4?
Yeah, it's a home run pick. I didn't think he was going to drop this far, and I didn't think that would be the Jets pick, and they did it. They really are solidifying surrounding talent around Zach Wilson, and they're not trying to make the mistake that they did with Sam Darnold. With Carter, man, he brings a lot to the table. His speed, his quick one cut that he has is insane. And he's a physical back. And, he can get those chunk yards really fast, like really quickly. He can catch the ball from the backfield. Going to be joining the backfield with Michael Pirine, Tevin Coleman, Josh Adam, Ty Johnson. They're all going to be competing with each other in this offense, but he just adds a different type of running back in this locker room, man. He's going to be used. He is a LaFleur type running back, and I think this is the type of running back that we needed, a speedy guy like Ty Johnson. Those two are going to be interesting to see how they can pair them together. But I think this is a great pick. I think he has a ability to get a lot of touches this season. But yeah, I mean, they're surrounding talent against for Zach Wilson, and this is a really good upgrade for the Jets.
Yeah, it's a player that's going to be probably our most talented running back on the roster. We know that we brought in veteran Tevin Coleman, and Michael Pirine was our draft pick last year, and we have Ty Johnson. But I feel like Michael Carter fits the scheme the best out of any of those running backs I just mentioned. He's a pass-catching back that can get open and scheme, and if you give him space to work with and we can open up holes, he is a 70-yard touchdown waiting to happen. He has burst. He has great vision. He has great footwork, balance. He has everything you want in a LaFleur's type of offense. So for them to get him in round 4 is tremendous value. And I love that they got a wide receiver, a running back, and a protector for Zach Wilson to start off the draft, because they are honing in on this quarterback position. They are learning from their past mistakes that honestly they did not make, that previous Jets general managers has made by not surrounding their quarterback with talent and protection. And that's exactly what the Jets are doing. And that was our last offensive player that we drafted. So let's move on to our next pick in the 4th round, which is Jamien Sherwood, who is a linebacker / safety. He was listed as a safety in Auburn, but he played all over the place. The Jets drafted him to be our will linebacker, somebody that can play off the ball and somebody that can play as that box safety role linebacker. He can blitz the quarterback. He can line up, in the slot and go up against tight ends. He's a hard-hitting guy. He's physical. He's somebody that's going to lay the boom, and he has a really good mentality. He's really athletic, and that's something that we're going to be talking about. There's a very common thread throughout the rest of the players that we drafted for the rest of the draft is they're physical, they're freak athletes. So in a nutshell, Lee, without getting too deep into Sherwood, because we got a lot to talk about, what's your thoughts of Jamien Sherwood, and how do you think he's going to fit in Saleh's defense?
He's just a dog, man. He is. He can play multiple positions. He hits like a pro. He has a long wingspan. He can play in the box, like you just said. And he's fast. He's physical. He's also a core special teamer. I think he'll be on special teams too, depending on what the roster looks like week 1. But yeah, I mean, he's solid. He's a solid player. And the Jets will have fun using him.
That's for sure. So Jamien Sherwood is a player that I think is going to be getting subbed in packages throughout the year. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time as a rookie, and I'm really, really interested to see how he performs under Coach Rob Saleh. So the next player we want to talk about is Michael Carter, the second defensive back. This was a funny draft pick. We all know that we drafted Michael Carter out of UNC, the running back that we just talked about. But we draft another player, the same exact name, but luckily he is the second, so we don't have to get them confused too much. But hey, this is a guy that is speedy. He is someone that ran a 4.3 40, I'm pretty sure. And he's also someone that's going to be playing on the outside and also the inside in the nickel packages. I feel like we are bringing in defensive backs galore in the back end of this draft because, like I said earlier, we don't have a lot of cornerbacks on this roster. We did not even tackle them at all in free agency. And I think the reason why is because they had a plan. They saw all these athletic guys back end in the draft, and they just want to go all in. That's why Joe Douglas wanted a lot of 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks, is because they wanted to load up in the secondary, and that's exactly what we're doing with Michael Carter the second. He's somebody that can play free safety. He's someone that can play on the outside. He's also someone that can play in the nickel. So he's another versatile chess piece that Saleh can implement into the defense. And another player that we got is a cornerback special teams guy, which is Jason Pinnock. So, Ali, what's your thoughts of this pick? A guy out of Pittsburgh who Darrell Revis went to, but I'm just going to leave that there.
I mean, all these guys, man, are versatile. That's all you can say about these guys. These are guys that they found late in the rounds. I feel like Pinnock, they are a little bit reached on a little bit, but it's someone they wanted. And he's, from what I've heard and on Twitter, I watched a little bit of film on him while we were on live. He's a stud. He's a stud. When he's out there, he makes a difference. He's gonna put his 100% out there. He's gonna do whatever he can on special teams. Wherever you put him, he's gonna do it. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a reach. We all know that, but he's gonna bring it. He's gonna wherever position he's gonna play, cornerback, maybe even safety, special teams. He's gonna be all over the place. So I mean, it's a value pick for the Jets, and it's another guy that they'll toss in there and see if he works.
Yeah, exactly. And what I've noticed from him the most is his physicality and his athleticism. He's somebody that has a freak vertical, somebody that can go all over the place. I think he's going to play special teams as well as defense on the cornerback position. He's probably the only traditional outside corner out of this class besides Echols that we'll get into later on. But I don't know if he's going to get that much burn out there at the cornerback position. But hey, we're adding competition to the defensive back room. And what Pinnock brings to the table is a core special teamer potential and a guy that can provide depth in that cornerback room, because we know how depleted the CVs are on the team. And what we're doing in the back end of this draft is to make sure that we acquire depth and have upside. And like Ali said, this might have been a reach, but that tells you that Robert Saleh and the defensive coaching staff sees a lot of potential in him that they can get out of with great coaching. So that leads us into our next player, which I struggle to say his name still, Hamsah Nasirildeen. He's another linebacker safety hybrid out of FSU. And when we initially drafted him, NFL Network, ESPN labeled him as a safety. And then the Jets announced he's a linebacker. So that tells you that the Jets talked to him and they said, we know that you played both linebacker and safety in college, more safety, honestly, but we see you fitting in our defense as a perfect fit for the linebacker group, an outside linebacker that can just be a dog, guard tight ends, very similar to Sherwood, but he's less of a hard-hitting guy. He's more of a coverage guy that's very long and lanky and can be a ball hawk and just get in those passing lanes, get those pass breakups, and even, go up to the quarterback and get some pressure over there. So there's a lot of things that he can do. A lot of people had him going early in the draft, but he's another example of injuries making him slide all the way into round 6. So, Ali, what's your thoughts on this draft pick? And do you think it was a really good value pick? Because I sure do so.
Yeah, I mean, he suffered an ACL injury in 2019, and then he made it back for 2020, and he played 2 games. He's a team leader. He's faced a lot of adversity in FSU. He's a high football character player, which Joe Douglas obviously loves. He led the team in tackles, I believe, his sophomore and junior year. He thrives in the box. He attacks tackles like he wants to leave a mark on this offender, and on special teams background, he's very good there too. So you pretty much got a guy that's going to be probably special teams fully, but if they need him at cornerback or whatever it is, he'll be put in there. But he's a guy that has faced adversity and he's gonna come in and be a leader on the football team, do whatever the team wants, the coaches want, and he's gonna fight for his position, he's gonna fight for his spot, and that's the type of culture that Douglas is trying to build.
Yeah, he dealt with a lot of adversity, like you said, and I think if he was fully healthy, he would have been a first, second-round talent, because that's what I've been reading all over the place, that this guy is an athletic freak, but the injuries are the reason why he fell all the way late in the draft, and that's what the Jets found in him. And then to get to our second to last player, which is cornerback Brandin Echols out of Kentucky. This is another guy that is a speedy corner on the outside and can play inside or outside, and he's very versatile. I mean, that's how many times are we going to say the word versatile? I don't know, but that's the, identity that Rob Saleh is trying to bring to the New York Jets defense, where you can have a lot of moving chess pieces. You're a football player. You're not one-dimensionally a corner. You're not just a safety. You're not just a linebacker. You can do it all. And that's the evolution of today's game. We are going into a transitional period in the NFL where it's positionless. You're not labeled as this player, this position, or that position. You can do it all. And Echols is another example of that. He's a speedy, freakishly athletic kid. And I feel like that's the common trend throughout all these defensive players that we drafted, is they are very athletic. They have a very fast 40, high vertical jumps. They have high character. They're captains, and they are versatile that can play all over the field. And then our last draft pick was defensive tackle Jonathan Marshall. And this was a guy that, no one really expected us to go defensive tackle late. Some people wanted a kicker, including myself. I know a lot of people wanted Ben Mason, the fullback, but unfortunately the Baltimore Ravens snagged him away from us. So, Ali, what's your thoughts of Jonathan Marshall? And do you think it was a good pick? Because what we're doing is adding depth to our best position group on the team, which is defensive tackle. We know that we got Quinton Williams, Foley Fatukasi, Sheldon Rankins, Jonathan Franklin Myers, Kyle Phillips. We got dogs on the line. So is Jonathan Marshall going to be, put in that room and develop behind them? You never know what he can turn into.
Yeah, I mean, he's another example of what he's a Joe Douglas type player. He's a team captain. He was named captain for his high character by his teammates. So he's a character, and he knows how to lead, and that's what they wanted on the defensive line, of course. He's quick and explosive. He has a good first step. He generates a lot of pocket pressure, which is really good for us. And he actually played basketball. He was a basketball player. So he knows how to, throw it down a little bit. So, I think it's a value pick. He dropped a little bit, I feel like, and Joe Douglas took advantage of it. So he was only one season a starter at Arkansas, which is a little bit of a, question mark of why he was only 1 year starter. But he brings a lot of thing there because he was a team captain. So, it's a value pick. It's your last pick of the draft, and you got a good guy there who can possibly be there as a backup for a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's our thoughts of each individual player. To finish off the video, we're going to give a grade for day 3 in general, not including what happened in day 1 and 2. My grade is probably going to be a B+. I think they did a really good job of just supplementing the secondary. I think it's a really big need. I would have liked them to get a tight end. I also would have liked them to go another offensive lineman. And I also would have loved a kicker or a fullback. So that's why I'm not giving it an A. I do like their mindset, though. That's why I gave it a B+, because I feel like Robert Saleh wants to get these chess pieces. He wants to bring guys in that has a lot of versatility and has high upside and high character. And I can see why Robert Saleh was hired here, just because of his scheme. These are the exact type of players. And remember, we need to bring in new personnel since we're transitioning from a 3-4 to 4-3 defense. And all the players we drafted fits the 4-3 defense perfectly. So I give it a B+. Ali, what's your letter grade for day 3?
Yeah, I'd probably say B-. I was kind of hoping that they would go maybe get a tight end there, because I know how important a tight end is in this offense, especially in San Francisco. So I was kind of hoping they would go tight end, maybe another offensive lineman. So I'll give them a B-. They did get some dogs in there, so that's why it's still a B. But they definitely didn't. Obviously, you're not going to hit every position in this draft. So you also miss edge rushers as well. So yeah, I mean, it was a solid draft for sure. And third round was a little bit going on the defensive side, getting what Salah wants. And it was fine. It was great. It was a great draft overall. But yeah, I'm gonna be more in depth writing for it on my website later on. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid draft.
Yeah, it was a solid draft, and that really does it for the Jets 2021 NFL Draft. Comment down below your letter grades of day 3, and also comment a Jet emoji if you guys stayed to the end. I appreciate all the support here in Jets Media. I know this was a longer video because we drafted a lot of players, and there's a lot of things to talk about. I'm excited to dive deeper into all these players' film, and on Monday we're going to be live on my channel to give you guys our in-depth breakdown even more on each player. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate all the support. Do not forget to hit that thumbs up button if you did not already, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in our next video. Peace out, everybody.